Hello and what's up everybody, it's ThunderBob here, and tonight we're going to be checking out some more Diablo IV beta. I am playing my level 25 Sorcerer again. I'm trying a new build. My initial build was a Hydra orb build. I also tried a no cooldown Ice Blades build. I'm trying a variation of the Hydra, but instead of using Frozen Orb, I am using Lightning skills. So it's pretty much all Lightning, Frozen, Hydra, and then Frost Nova. And I'm going to just walk you through the skills, the gear I'm using at this stage of the game, and then we're going to run through this dungeon, and we'll end it there. So to start with, I went with Spark for my generator skill. Just put the 2 points. I'm not using this a whole lot. For the most part, dropping 2 Hydras and then spamming Chain Lightning usually kills things before I need more mana. This is from a plus skill, you can ignore that, but then I did max out Chain Lightning. And I got the increased critical strike, which plays into some other skills we'll get to in a moment. And then if Chain Lightning bounces off you, it next does 25% increased damage. I also have an item that allows it to bounce more, so this should trigger more frequently. And then coming down, I've got Teleport from an item. I enjoy Teleport, it's a cool skill. Frost Nova I did invest in and went all the way down for that extra free vulnerability, and I do have a decent amount of vulnerable damage, if I remember correctly. I'm at 50% damage on vulnerable enemies. So this will give me 8 seconds of 50% damage against bosses, or 4 seconds against everyone else. Hydra, maxed out. Hydra's just a cool spell. Does a ton of damage. After you critically strike, your Hydra gains 30% critical strike chance. So I should be doing decent amount of critical strike because of the enhanced Chain Lightning here. And then I also put points into Glass Cannon just to do extra damage. And put point down here in Static Discharge. I didn't even go for any of the ultimates, they just have been really lackluster. But I did like the idea of this. Hitting enemies with shock skills increases your critical strike chance by 3%, resets upon getting critical strike. So my thought process is, you cast Chain Lightning, it bounces, 6 to 8 times? Right there is, let's say it bounces 6 times. There's an 18% chance, critical strike by the time that one cast is completed. And then once you get that crit, this triggers and gives your Hydras 30% crit chance. And there's a lot of critting going on. I don't have enough points to get in, deeply, but there's a lot of other synergies down here. That impact, you can get movement speed from crits. There's a ton of lightning skills that play off of critical strike, but that's as far as I got with the skill points I have in the beta on a level 25 sorcerer. We're going to look at the items. I forgot to socket that, my apologies, but not perfect for this build because I don't have a lot of crowd control. The big thing is Frost Nova, but I don't know if Frost Nova actually counts there or not. I have to play around with that. After Immobilize wears off, enemies are slowed. I'm assuming Frost Nova counts as Immobilize. Chain Lightning has a 33% chance to chain 2 additional times, so that's really nice for Chain Lightning. Just gives you a barrier. This actually, I'm just using it because that's the best I had, but it has the same ability as that other one. This gives me a second Hydra, which is really nice. I deal 32% more damage to Immobilize, stunned, or frozen enemies. So Frost Nova, I do 32% more damage to those enemies. I get 1 primary resource when I crowd control an enemy. So when I Frost Nova a big group of enemies, I get some resources back. This was really beneficial more for my Hydra Orb build, because Orb, I spam it, and I get a ton of energy back. So it's not as useful here. And then this is pretty cool. You have 36% increased critical strike chance against injured enemies. So this should also synergize well with my critical strike powers. And then lastly, I am using the Chain Lightning enhancement to get some more free Chain Lightning. And with that, we're going to go ahead and try to conquer this dungeon. I've always loved Chain Lightning. It's just a cool ability. I think the art here is actually not as good as Diablo II Resurrected. I think they really nailed the way lightning looks in that game, and it feels a little lackluster here, to be honest. So the basic setup here is I spawn 2 Hydras, And then if I actually hit with it, I let Chain Lightning do its thing. Which, you know, look, you can see like down there, that's building up, and then every time I get a crit, it resets. You can kind of see the frequency that I'm getting crits. I do think I like the Frozen Orb version of this better. Like Chain Lightning, I think theoretically, like on an individual enemy, can do more damage because, you know, if you do the math on it, it's doing almost 300 damage. You know, 6 to 8 times. You do the math on that, that's a lot of damage. But Frozen Orb, it's doing about 400 damage with each cast, but it's doing it to, you know, a much larger number and area, I believe. Like it's shooting out all those spikes, and then when it explodes, it does damage also. And each of those, each of those casts is doing about 400 damage to, like, everything on the screen, basically. Like, if you can aim it well, like, it's hitting a ton of enemies. Where Chain Lightning, like, it works well with a lot of enemies, but there's, like, a critical mass where you're not, like I'm casting this, and even that might be too many enemies to really successfully benefit from Chain Lightning. Like, it's not bouncing infinitely, it's only bouncing 6 times, so if you've got 12 enemies on the screen, well, your Chain Lightning's not hitting all of them, is it? And of course, Hydra, I feel, is the workhorse of the Source. It is just, like, the best skill in the game. By far. Well, okay. Check out my Necromancer video. I didn't get the 25, I got to about 20 with the Necro. But by that point, I was just like, okay, this class is just that good. I don't need to play anymore. And Blood Surge in particular is just an amazingly fun ability. Did I miss it over here? It has such an incredible range on it. And then it's got the Novas, and, like, I don't know why I'm not using Frost Nova. That would definitely increase my damage here. My apologies. My brain is not working. Like, watch when I Frost Nova, it's doing, I think I'm getting 30% more damage, right? Alright, I should be able to get that door. I like that Chain Lightning can bounce off of you. It makes it so much better than it otherwise would be. Yeah, that does much better with the Frost Nova. You know what's weird is Chain Lightning is cheaper than Frozen Orb, but I feel like I have way less mana because I had that item that gives me resource whenever I immobilize or slow an enemy. Like, in that regard, it actually feels like way more mana intensive. I guess that's kind of... You could find items for sure that probably replicate that on the lightning side too, but... And I have Ball Lightning on here just because I didn't have anything else that I wanted to invest deeply into, and, like, I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to put something here. The other really, really good Necro skill is, of course, Corpse Explosion. It's just amazing. It just murders. I do think Chain Lightning is probably the better skill for, like, fighting, like, an individual boss enemy, because the way it bounces between you and the boss is just pretty incredible. But I feel like the more enemies, especially the more clumped enemies, the better Frozen Orb is. You know why I was not using Frozen Orb at the beginning there? I had been running the no cooldown build earlier, and I had rearranged my skills, and my brain was still in that mode. Had to keep my Hydras up. Yeah, 2 items with the same name. I don't even know why I'm picking up items, because this is probably the last session I'm going to have with the beta. I'm playing this pretty late Saturday night, and usually Sundays I spend with the wife. We watch, you know, movies or TV or something. I probably won't play tomorrow. And during the day I'm usually hanging out with my daughter. It's just like, what's the point of even picking up items when everything can go poof pretty much after this session? Other than legendaries. If you watch the Necro video, actually no, the source video, the no cooldown video, I literally got like 5 legendaries in one run. It was pretty incredible. I need a better resource generator for this build. I feel like that's the biggest thing, is if I had more mana and could just spam, and maybe there's something I overlooked as far as mana regeneration. But I think for my personal playstyle, I do think the Hydra Orb build is more my kind of liking. But this isn't bad, and especially for bosses, I'm finding Chain Lightning is really effective, because it's doing, you know, let's say average 250 damage. Let's say it bounces just 6 times, 250 times 6. That's a lot of damage for 35 mana. Not as efficient as Hydra, but you'll have Hydras in either build. But I think if you're fighting anything other than a boss, like you're fighting lots of trash mobs, Orb is better. So maybe leveling up Orb might be better, and then when you're high level, if the item treadmill is mostly boss fighting, well then maybe Chain Lightning would be the optimal path. But that's just my thoughts after getting to 25 and messing around with these builds for a few hours. I'm going to end the video here. If you did enjoy this, please do check out some of my other content. I've got a ton of Diablo videos from Diablo 1, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and now Diablo 4. I've got a ton of VR, retro, and PC gaming in general. If you like what I'm doing, please do like, subscribe, drop me a comment with your thoughts. I do want to just thank you one more time for watching, everyone. Have a good night.